Good evening, and welcome to Context News. Well, people are asking, what the heck is context news? Well, you got to get into context to get what context news is. And I got to tell you right up front, ladies and gentlemen, that it is a bit abstract. But you've got to be able to deal with the abstraction of this to be able to get at the power of what the network is and what context news is really all about. So the definition of context is that which surrounds and gives how something is there for you. So what's there is actually what's over there. But you don't see what's actually over there. You see what you see by virtue of the context in which what's over there is there. All right, now, is this black or blue? Now, the answer is neither and both. If the context is color, it's blue. But if the context that you're seeing it in is the context of text, then it's black. So it really is neither, though, because it's just lines on a piece of paper. See, one way to get at what context news is to get at what it isn't. You know, what differentiates us from the other news outlets out there. And not to say that we're any better than anything else that's out there, but we are distinct. Journalism is a method of inquiry and literary style that aims to provide a service to the public by the dissemination and analysis of news and other information. So there you have it right there. What you're going to do with journalism is that you're going to disseminate and analyze the news. See, what you get from the other outlets is you don't get the facts. And I'm not saying that the facts aren't going to be in there somewhere. You don't get what's happening. What you get is the story of what's happening. They give you an analysis and they give you an explanation of what's happening, which is very different than what's happening. But we don't want to analyze the news here at Context News, not that way. We don't want to leave you with a story of what's happening. We want to leave you with what's happening as what's happening. But that's no small feat. We as the people bringing you the news, and every news service out there, regardless of how objective they purport to be, has got their own perspective between them and what they're seeing, and report that what they've seen, which isn't what happened, but it really is what they've seen by virtue of their perspective of how they're seeing it, and then they give it to you, and then you filter it through your perspective, and who knows what you end up with, but I'll tell you, it's very, very far off from what's actually happening. We've got a dilemma here. We really have a dilemma here, and the dilemma that we're in really does focus on what the hell it's going to take for us to get to you what's actually happening. Not the story of what's happening, but what's happening. What it's going to take is, and this is something that I didn't realize when we first took this on, and I really thought this was, I knew it was going to be powerful and distinct and not what anyone else was doing, and essential, something that was essential to bring, really essential. And I thought it was going to be, for the most part, the onus was going to be on us here at Context News in the matter of what we were going to be bringing you. And I have really seen for myself in the initial work that we've done to get this thing launched, and what it is that it's going to take something. It is going to take something from you, the viewer, that is distinct, not just from us as the network that's distinct, from the you as the viewer that's distinct. And what it's going to take from you as the viewer is that you are going to have to work it out, that you can start to deal with everything that's going to be presented objectively. What's required is what's known as journalistic objectivity. And what objectivity is, or journalistic objectivity is it is the presentation of mind-independent facts, irrespective of human feelings, beliefs, or judgments. So it's for us to get to you mind-independent facts, facts that are independent of what's happening in the mind, facts that are independent of any kind of feeling, any kind of belief, judgment, point of view, or perspective. And you have to be able, as the viewer, to see the facts mind independent, independent of your mind, independent of your feelings, beliefs, and judgments. Brent Cunningham, the managing editor of Columbia Journalism Review, argues objectivity is not possible because we all have our biases, including journalists. Now, here's the kicker. In 1996, the Society of Professional Journalists acknowledged this dilemma and dropped objectivity from its ethics code. So objectivity it's basically been deemed impossible, and so they've even dropped it as anything that they're currently after. So let's make this real, all right? I'm going to stop talking for about 20 seconds, all right? And you just listen to what goes on in your head while I'm just sitting here. There, did you hear that? You're paying attention, you heard opinions, what's he talking about? I don't know what's happening here, blah, blah, blah. Thinking about my glasses, thinking about, what you ate for dinner, you're going to do tomorrow, whatever it is. But all that stuff is flying by, which we call all expressions of subjectivity, points of view, analysis, opinions, decisions that have been made. All of that's there in the present that's between you and what's happening. We're not seeing what's happening. We're seeing what we're seeing, and it looks like it's what's happening, but it's really some version of what's happening by virtue of the context in which we're seeing it. 10 people could watch this, and when it's all over, I say, okay, tell me what was there. And I would get 10 different versions of what was there. And each of those people would say, no, that was what was there. Now, it wasn't what was there, but it was what was there for them. And it was what was there for them by virtue of the context in which they saw and heard it. Human beings live in a context of subjectivity. And it isn't there for us as subjectivity. We're not going to change that context, but we can have that context be there for us as that context. So instead of seeing what I'm seeing through a particular point of view, I can start to have that point of view be there for me as a point of view and no longer what I'm seeing through. Then it's no longer filtering what I'm seeing. And I can start to really see what's happening in the world, mind independent. Now, is that easy? No. But we're going to do the work on our end to get everything that's there in terms of our perspective and points of view out of the way so that you don't get any of that. You literally get what's happening. And then what you want to do on your end is that you want to be checking your perspective, points of view, beliefs, all of that, so that that can be off to the side and you can start to see what's actually happening as what's happening so that we can get the facts as the facts. And that's powerful, man. That is really, really powerful to be able to deal with the world as it is and not how it's perceived or explained. I'm Lachlan Artz, and this is Context News. And that's that.